crisis feeling for Rotherham United.
Wood's got round the back, and Richie Wood has done it again. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly.
Do me a favour, drop me off in Rotherham.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. Thank you all for being with us as we look back at a win. First win in like forever. 2-1 victory over Northampton Town. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't sexy. It wasn't exciting. But that doesn't matter. 3 points is all that matters. Rob Dixon says, anybody remember what a positive episode looks like? No, Rob. Not a clue. We're going to stumble our way through this. But yeah, Mick's with us first. Well, how's it going, Mick?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. Thank you very much. All good. Are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Friday tomorrow, isn't it? So
Yeah, not going to argue tonight, are we? I wouldn't have thought.
yeah, we'll see.
Well, all right.
Danny's back. How's it going, Danny?
Yeah, going good. I had a busy week of glass collecting this week, but I'm just happy that we've won.
Yes, I agree. YouTuber says, good evening, one. All the new boys is proud. Everyone says, not a coincidence that Ben's now out of the country and we're now on an unbeaten run. Correct. Not a coincidence at all. Mark Gamble's asking if we're going to take Ben's passport away from him. Yes. I'm going to put a call into Mexico and see if they can keep him going on there. Harry says, evening, not getting carried away. However, I will say we've ordered the Wembley bus again. Yep, correct. We'll get on that. John's with us. Chris Heather's with us. Adam Fry says, afternoon, gents. Bang, the final up to anyways. Mark Gamble's lost sound. Has anybody else lost sound? If anybody in the comments has lost sound. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it because we can all hear each other. So apologies if you lost sound. We were going to blame YouTube for that. If we
Mark's probably sat on mute button, hasn't he?
Quite possibly. Right. Should we talk about football? We'll talk about actual football. Good football. Well, decent football. Yeah, there we go. Mick, first win in 9, I think. First win in 9, but now two unbeaten. It's the start of something. Yeah, like I said, not pretty, not exciting, but massive, but a really, really, really important win.
Shocking first half, good second half is basically the summary of that game. I could probably write for a newspaper or do a radio summary, a review at a game. Yeah, it weren't pretty, particularly in first half. But we got it together and we put a decent 45 minutes in, and arguably deserved winners. Possibly not on the balance of the game. Probably a draw would have been a fairer result, but that is irrelevant, isn't it? It's a massive win. It's a really, really important win because it breaks that horrific run that we've had. And from a confidence point of view, from an outlook point of view, it was so important.
Yeah, I agree. Matt Miller says we'll come on to the specifics there, but did the win save Matt Hanshaw's job? And I think there's a very, very strong argument that second half saved Matt Hanshaw's job. Even the Adebayo's goal probably on its own saved him the job. It was an important game because of the run. But also because of where we are in the season as well. It's a crucial time of the year. You know, if we lost that game, we'd have been 6 points of safety, or 5 points of safety as it ended. So a huge, huge win. And what was thought of Matt Hamshaw's job kind of thing as well.
Yeah, I think with how the Wimbledon game ended, if the Northampton game, even if we'd have come back into it and it had finished 1-1, I think question marks would have still been asked about game management, I think. Yeah. I don't personally think it would have been we've not won against Northampton and down comes the guillotine. I think it would have just contributed to quite a large stack of files if to go, well, this is why it's not working. But no, I definitely think the Northampton result has helped significantly because it shows we can still get ourselves back into games when we've been playing awfully. Because I agree with Mick. I managed to watch it at the pub for the entire game. Got told off for watching football, but never mind. And the first half was not pretty at all. I found myself keeping more of an eye on the Doncaster game because it was more entertaining. And then, you know, you see Northampton take the lead, head in hands moment for me personally. Just like, oh no, here we go. But then we seemed to just click. I don't know what it was, but like a light bulb seemed to go off with everybody, and then we got the 2-1 result out of it. So yeah, happy days. But yeah, it'll do Matt Amshaw a world of favours, because now he might have a bit more encouragement to go out and get the 2 signings that we need.
Yeah, we'll see. Wonder. Yeah. Anyway, signings, changes, things happening. Harry says, the first half was shocking. Hampshire needed that second half in order to keep his job, in his opinion. Andrew Ross says, perfect result. Nick Eve scores and 2 newbies scored. Can we just set something straight, by the way? The Northampton, whoever was interviewing Tom Eves for Northampton, they must have never watched Tom Eves play before. Because they asked him, the home fans were booing you. What did you make of that? Nobody was booing Tom Eves. They were saying Eves. I'm not being an idiot, am I? That was it, weren't it?
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
Even the Northampton fans were doing it.
Yeah, it quite surprised me that that's what I've not seen the interview, obviously, seen it, I'm aware it took place. What did Tom Eves say? Did he? He
just kind of brushed it off and kind of talked about his time here. He said that if Paul Warren would have stayed, then his time would have been very different at the football club.
Yeah,
sly dig at Matt Taylor. Well, sly dig. He mentioned Matt Taylor, so there was a dig at Matt Taylor. But yeah, not the first one, and he won't be the last one.
I think as well with Tom Eves, we can just put a bit of respect towards him as well for not celebrating his goal as well, because we've seen some former players come back and give it the big one that they've scored in front of the North stand. But with Tom Eves, was very respectful. He didn't celebrate. And yeah, like you say, Matt, slight dig at Matt Taylor, but he must have enjoyed his football and Paul Warren, so he still thinks of us fondly, which is actually quite nice to see from former signing.
Yeah, even though it didn't go particularly well, it's still, I think it's respect there between Rotherham and Tom Eves. So if you are watching, whoever you are, you Northampton question it, it's Eves, not Boo. There's a difference.
The northern accent, it confuses them.
Possibly that might be the case. Let's start with the first half, Mick, because we have to. You're kind of sitting there for the first 45 minutes thinking, I don't know where we go from here. I don't know if Matt Amshaw's got what it takes for this job, because he's stuck to his guns again. He's stuck to his 3-5-2. Coletta wasn't having the impact. He took a knock very early on the ankle, and that stopped him kind of doing anything positive from us. So we had no outlet, really. It was a really, really grim 45 minutes. Arguably one of the worst 45 minutes of the season. That says something, because we've had some shockers.
I don't know about that. It was just poor. It was just much of a muchness, weren't it? First 5, 7, 8 minutes, we were on front foot a little bit, and then we just went back to hoofing it long, and I don't understand. That can't be what he's asking them to do. It can't be. But the thing is, we talked about this the other night at the game, Matt. You know, a lot of this is about composure. It's about confidence. It's about just not wanting to lose. It's about fear. It's all those things that a lot of these players are clearly playing with. You know, and one of the biggest culprits is Joe Rafferty. You know, a player of a huge experience, and yet he is lacking composure. And when you've got players who are playing in that position without any composure, you're never going to get the ball through midfield, because it's just going to keep going long. You can blame Amshaw as much as you want, and I would agree that it's clear to everybody with working eyes that system is not working for this team at the moment. You know, and look, I know he wants to play it, and I'm a big fan of it. I've said it before. I really like 5-3-2, 3-5-2, however you want to. I think it's great. For me, it's the system that I would want to play if I was a manager. But you've got to be adaptable. You've got to be adaptable, and you've got to be able to see what's in front of your eyes. And when we play with 4 at the back, we're a different team completely, a completely different animal. And he's only got half the tools he needs to play that formation. You've got all the tools you need to play the other one. Look, you've got to swallow your pride for a little bit. Let's get the results. Let's get the points on the board. Let's get the transfer window out of the way. We can reassess at that point. But at this stage, nothing is more important than the points on the board. and that includes your desire to play a certain way. It's points on the board now.
Yeah, absolutely is. It's that 10-minute spell makes right. It wasn't quite 10 minutes because of all the stop-start in the game. The first 2 minutes were really stop-start. I think Matt Armstrong's plan is hit everybody early. It doesn't seem to work, but we do generally start pretty quickly. But the stop-start game nature of the game really hurt any momentum we could build up. And Northampton grew and grew into that game. You could kind of see as the game went on, Northampton went, "Oh, these are actually not a very good team. We can do these." And you could see them passing around with a bit of confidence. And bear in mind, they were the only team that was anywhere near as level a bad a run as us before the game. So they shouldn't have been in confidence. But they were. And you could see it grow and grow and grow. And obviously, we'll talk about the goal in a second. But we allowed them to go into that game, which is criminal at home.
Yeah, that's kind of the drawback from trying to hit teams early. You sort of go big early and try and score. But if they keep you out, you sort of fizzle out towards the end of the half, and then they go, "Oh, actually, we're getting back into this game," like Northampton did, like you've just said. And then you're kind of on the back foot, either just before half-time or just after half-time. And lo and behold, Northampton scored not too long after half-time. So, yeah, there are drawbacks to that system, but I think if we were to play 4-4-2 from the start, which is quite a big if, it seems, at the minute, I don't think it'd cater to that. I think it'd be more of a exchanging blows, and then you build into it in the second, in the latter period of the first half into the second half. But we'll have to change our approach to games like that. And I mean, 4-4-2 is not the worst thing in the world. Like Mick said, 3-5-2 or 5-3-2 or whatever it is, isn't quite working at the minute. And we said on the last podcast, adaptability is key. If you're in a relegation fight where first objective in the immediate time frame is to get out of the relegation zone, you have to become hard to score against and hard to beat. And with 5-3-2, we kind of leave ourselves exposed to that and leaves ourselves depending on long balls. Can't be doing that when you're in a relegation scrap. You need to be hard to break down and hard to beat. And hopefully we see that sooner rather than later. But you know, there's a lot of ifs and hopefullys going on at the minute. Proof's in the pudding. But yeah, it was just a hard watch. Northampton growing into the game. It was a definite, oh no, here we go. This is what's going to happen now. Half time, fair enough, 0-0. Try and get better in the second half, and then Northampton scores. A bit like I said earlier, head in hands moments. Like, yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. Here we go. We're going to lose 1-0, and everyone's going to explode on Twitter and go on ranting and putting statements out and all this sort of thing. But no, we turned it round. So I may have got into a bit of trouble for dancing up and down the bar, celebrating, but never mind. It got toxic as well, Mick. I promise you there's going to be some positives to talk about in this show. I promise we'll get there. But I think context setting's important as well because it makes it almost sweet in the second half. But it got pretty toxic in that second half. At half-time, although there weren't many fans in the stadium, there definitely wasn't 7,000 fans in the stadium. It felt like almost all of them were booing at halftime. Mick. It really was that bad. It was a horrible feeling. We've had it before in the last 12 months in terms of that horrible feeling at games, but it was kind of justified again. And at halftime, I'm kind of sat there frustrated because we've seen a really, really good spell 4 days ago, and we're getting served up this first half again. And this is a real problem. And again, there's positives to come from it, but Matt Armstrong's got to learn. We can't be giving away halves like that. And we've done it literally all season. He's got to be learning by now about how to stop that from happening because better team than Northampton would have put us 3-0 down, wouldn't they, by half time?
We haven't put a 90-minute performance in all season.
No.
And that's got to be the major concern. Absolutely. And look, we could talk all day about formations and everything else. I've got it's got to change. It's got to change. You know, we have to play to our strengths. And I mean, I said this when the last part of the conversation. You know, but we have to play to our strengths, and we're looking better now. We've got players back. Obviously, Dan Gore came on in the second half and changed the game massively. So I don't know. We're repeating ourselves, aren't we? And I understand why fans get fed up, and I understand why people boo. And it was awful the first half again and again and again and again and again. So people are going to get fed up. But on the flip side of it, the second half changed it round. It changed the attitude of the crowd round because of what we saw on the pitch and what was happening on the pitch. So it's within his gift. It's within the manager and the team's gift to get the fans back on board in an instant. You know, they're not going to have to work for weeks and months to get the vast majority of reasonable supporters back on side. You know, a 10-minute spell will get them there. But what we actually need is a 90-minute spell. You know, and then that toxicity will still be there because too many people, supporter-wise, have dug themselves too big a holes to get out of in terms of what they want from this football club. But for most of us, you know, we know what we want, and when we get it, we're going to be behind it.
Yeah, I'm in that camp. After the Wimbledon game, I need winning round a bit. Tuesday obviously helped. Tuesday second half absolutely helped towards bringing me back around, but there's too many questions at the minute. We'll come. This is for another episode, really. But I'm certainly in that camp of wanting to be won round and needing to be won round by Matt Hamshaw and sure that he can actually change, which we'll see if he actually can or not over the next few weeks, I suppose. On to the goal, Danny. You probably have a better memory of me because that goal for me was just a blur, an absolute blur. I don't know why my mind just furiously kept itself inside this time. I didn't shout and swear this time, which is nice. But Tom Eaves getting his goal at New York Stadium. I think he's got more goals for opposition at New York Stadium than he has for Rotherham United at New York Stadium, which is not great. But again, just sloppy, a bit silly. It was a really poor end to the first half.
Yeah. Also, thank you for the private chat message, Mick. It was in the first half, so it makes it even worse that we were 1-0 down going into half time. Again, that's the blur for me because it was just like, oh, here we go again. So I'd forgotten it were in first half. I even said it was in front at North Stand. I'm just not having a good day, lads, if I'm being honest.
It was.
Anyway, so yeah, it's kind of a blur for me as well because I don't remember Eves being offside, but a lot of people said he was offside.
No, I agree.
For that goal. And it for me, it was just kind of sods. I mean, we even said on the last podcast, you know, it was either going to be Tom Eaves or Hoskins to come back and haunt us and score against us. And lo and behold, it's what's happened. So I think that's why probably both for me and you, it is a little bit of a blur because it's like, oh, no, here we go. It's been revealed and sod's law, it's Eaves that scored. And yeah, again, it's a blur for me as well. Like I say, I was keeping half an eye on the Donning game because it was entertaining. Because I think they were 1-0 up at the time, just about to go 2-0 up. So more entertaining football on more tellies in the pub. But yeah, I think for a lot of people, it must have been a blur. And like it's a Stod's Law blur that twice former player, has scored again against us. And I think you are right. I think he has scored more goals for the opposition than he has in a Rotherham shirt.
It's at least 4 at New York Stadium.
At least 4, yeah.
Hat-trick for Hull and 1 for these.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it was just a sloppy goal to concede. You know, defence switched off again. There is the argument for offside, but at the same time, when you've got a centre-forward, the big centre-forward in Tom Eaves, even though we have a big centre-forward in Jordan Hugill, we should kind of know how to defend against that because we have one in our team. Yeah. You know, it raises questions of, well, what are we doing in training if we can't counteract it and be switched on for it? Or it's just a lapse in concentration at a crucial point in the game and it's really hurt us. But again, it's something to work on in training. There's a lot of work to do in training, but defending against the big centre-halves is one of them for sure because we always seem to get caught out. You know, with balls into the 6-yard box, we always get caught out with it. And I don't know why. We just seem to switch off and hope for the best. I
think in general, we're susceptible to long balls. Certainly defensive, but we don't win many in attack either. Or set pieces.
But again, we hoof it up. How do we not know to defend against that when that's our default setting? You know what I mean?
Yeah. The people mentioned the offside. I'll be honest, the first mention of offside is the live chat tonight. I didn't even cross my mind about being offside. But yeah, Mike says, was he's offside? Yep, rubbish decision. It adds the offside came with the guy heading the ball in front of Jules. He's freeze framed it on the screen now and he uses half a yard offside. Absolutely. Did it even cross your mind, Mick? I mean, we're at the other end of the pitch, which is difficult for us. But
your immediate reaction was he offside because it was so wide open? But it shouldn't. There's nobody marking him.
No, within 3 or 4 yards, is there?
No, and that's the most frustrating part about it. And again, it's down our left, there, right.
Yeah.
So Reece James was injured very shortly after that or before it. I can't remember whether he was on pitch at that point. I can't remember now. Interestingly, on an off-the-ball incident with Tom Eaves. And ended up in A&E, I understand.
So,
but anyway, the linesman didn't see that either, or the offside. But yeah, I mean, if he's offside, and he should be given. But we seem to play offsides as and when, really, as opposed to actually when they happen. But it's got to be defended better. The ball shouldn't be coming in, and if the ball's coming in like that, it needs to be cleared. It's been misjudged by arguably 3 centre halves.
It's weird that I badly think because we actually say all 3 centre halves are pretty good centre halves. Baptiste is brilliant. Zach Jules is very good on his day, and Rafa is a very solid centre half. But yeah, we struggle to defend the high balls. It's just very strange. Obviously, we made the changes. Well, we made a change in the first half because Cleta got injured again. He's now down for Exeter, although it's touch and go, which is a positive, which means he'll probably be after the Cardiff game. And then Dan Gore came on at half time for somebody. Remind me who he came on for? Not McWilliams, because McWilliams stayed on, didn't he?
Can't remember now. God, this is terrible.
We're not very good. James.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Must be James. Reece James came off for that. Well, I promise we were actually at the game. We watched it. I promise we watched it. But it's a change in setup again, Mick. It's a straight away. Well, the change setup came up when Cleta came off, sort of. But again, we were the dominant team. Northampton had their spells. They had the ball at times, but we largely nullified them in the second half because we were on the front foot. We were attacking, and it was realistically a matter of time before we got the equaliser. Really,
yeah, it was. It was. We were on top, and on the second half performance alone, we absolutely deserved to take 3 points. Yeah. It was the first half that sort of kind of dragged it down to being more deserving of a draw, but we were more effective. We were more attacking. We looked more threatening, and we were playing 4 across the back. And one of those was Joe Powell to start with.
Well, yeah,
as an out-and-out left back, which wasn't ideal, but it worked. And like I said, I'm going over old ground. That's the kind of performance I want to see. I want to see some fight. I want to see some battle, and I want to see some attacking football, some possession football as well, keeping hold of the ball, which we managed to do because of the formation that we played. I don't know whether it was 4-4-2 or 4-3-3. I think it was arguably a 4-3-3. But yeah, it was so much better. It wasn't great, but it was so much better. You know, if you were looking at that second half in isolation, I think you could see there's a plan. You know what we're doing here. We know what we're trying to do, and we're achieving it quite a bit at the time. But there's still some work to be done.
Yeah.
The problem is you can't, because we've got the first half that goes with it, and the first half again against Wimbledon that goes with it. We need to stitch 2 of those good halves together, and it's not that difficult. I genuinely don't think it's that difficult.
No, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Dan Gore comes on as well, Danny. This touches on how important Dan Gore is, how important he is to keep him fit, because he's instantly involved. I mean, within 5 minutes, he's wrestling up floor with Northampton player off the ball, just involved in the action, just doing something, causing problems. But there's a couple of players which are massive. Nombe is an obvious one. Harry Gray will come on to, and Dan Gore are probably your 3 main men to keep fit between now and the end of the season, because it just ticks over. Everything ticks through Dan Gore. He's what I want Joe Powell to be honest with you. Although I think he had a good game, we'll come on to him. But Dan Gore is just, if we're going to have a good season, again, you don't go down with a player like Dan Gore in your team. I don't think. I think he's like Numby like that.
Yeah, I think Nombe, Gray, and Gore, like you've just said, are the three to keep fit till end of the season because I think they're the three first on the team sheet now. Yeah. Now that they're fit, I think Dan Gore will start against Exeter. To be honest, now we've got 45 minutes out of him and a few days recovery until Saturday. But now he was causing problems straight away, like you say. But that's what we need in our midfield. We need the bite in midfield, and I think that's why we go back to factory settings by hoofing it long because. Without Dan Gore, there's no bite in midfield. That's nothing against the other players. I just think Dan Gore just gets stuck in. He's that sort of player where he's just stuck in all the time. And some players, it'll make him back off. Some players, it'll make him a bit more hot-headed. And we either win more fouls in the midfield or we have more space in midfield. And Dan Gore creates that. And arguably... it's a man of the match performance whenever he's on the pitch because he just drives the team forward, but it also brings them back when he has to. Like John just said in the comments, we need Gore and Spence together in midfield. Absolutely, that's probably the best setup you can ask for in midfield at the minute. And I'm kind of happy he did come on at half time because it obviously wasn't the plan with James going off injured. But Gore ran the show for the second half, and I think enabled us to even have the confidence to get back into the game. We'll come on to the goals in a minute, but without Dan Gore, I don't think we've got the confidence to have the fight back at all.
No, I agree. Scott Kent says, I'm right, I forgot about this. We should have scored just after we did. The run from Dan Gore from his own box was brilliant. It had to be a goal, but the finish from Martha was dreadful. Normally tried, but just to reach it. That was such a bad moment for Martha. He didn't need much at all. He snatched it. It's something wrong.
Look, he panicked, and I like Johnny Martha. There's an absolute nailed-on football player in there, and I've noticed a couple of times, and unfortunately, that's all it is. There's been a couple of times where all of a sudden it's turned into Mr. Aggressive. He's chased the ball back. He's tackling players. At some point, something snaps in him. He gets angry. And when he gets angry, he turns into a fantastic player. He's aggressive, he's pacey, he's chasing players back, he's winning tackles, but then he disappears again, And that incident that Scott's talking about there, he's panicked. He's absolutely panicked because he snatched at the shot, trying to get it off as quickly as he possibly can, and obviously it's gone wide. It's an absolute gilt-edged opportunity, and I would argue the player playing with some confidence, because I don't think he's playing with any confidence either. No. That's obviously back at net. And then Johnny Martha with a bit of confidence and a bit of composure puts something in the back of the net. He strikes me as being a player who is he's young. He's naive, clearly, and I don't think he's quite got the mental attributes yet to be up for the fight almost, Yeah. He is periodically, but he just needs a bit of maturity, I think.
Yeah. And what's good about him, when he does turn into that aggressive mode, he doesn't become petulant and like just stupid and get silly yellow card. There's a kind of a purpose to it, though.
Yeah.
It's there. I can see it in him.
Yeah, Ahmad's got it right.
Maybe somebody gives a slap before coming on.
Wind him up, poke him in ribs, just make him annoyed, make him angry. Because I genuinely think that if he could play with that form of sort of aggression, everything else would just fall into place for him.
Yeah. Basically, listen, Martha's not been the same since qualified. There's always a possibility that's playing into his mind a little bit. He don't want to get injured. If he gets injured now and misses World Cup, it's only ever a chance to make World Cup.
Yeah.
If it were me, that would be in the back of my mind. I'm not mentally strong enough to block that out. So if it may well be the case but he's got to perform. Otherwise, he won't win the World Cup anyway, will he?
Yeah.
So he's got to find that balance.
Yeah.
And if you think about it as well, the majority of the qualification campaign for Curaçao, he was on the bench, and so that'll be playing in his mind as well. That he needs to play well for Rotherham, even though we're in a slump, or he might not go to the World Cup. But will he go to the World Cup anyway? Because he's not been the starter for Curaçao. There's a lot of mental gymnastics with Martha at the minute, I think, that we've not really given him credit for. But I agree, if he gets aggressive, he turns into a brilliant player. So a few slaps around the face, or I don't know, just a bit of harsh encouragement, shall we say, which is a better way of wording it, and he'll be on it from the off. It feels like we need like bull testosterone or something to get him going, and he'll just tear up the pitch or something.
Ironically, what he needs, ironically, is a Steve Evans bollocking. That's the irony of that, but that's arguably maybe something that he would react to.
Possibly. Yeah. What he should do is go back and watch Chio play for us and just copy whatever Chio did. Chio never got nasty and aggressive, did he? But he was always positive aggressive, I think.
Yeah. It was always hyped up for it, Chio, wasn't he?
Yeah, always. They were always on the edge, weren't they? I thought. Anyway. Right, we're going to talk about some record breaking in a second. But first of all, please make sure you've subscribed if you haven't done so already. And take us over as much as you possibly can to higher numbers. If you haven't given the video a thumbs up, please do so. There will be a scan report out at some point. Mick's done it, so I ain't seen it. I don't know. It might be good, might be terrible. We just don't know.
Spoiler alert, it's terrible.
There's explicit just about all over the place.
We had Brad, who is not a podcast, but he's just an extra fan who allowed us to take some of his time away from his family to talk to Rotherham for 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, about 10, 12 minutes. I'm not going to lie, right? Even in the opening, I forgot who we were playing. So it's really a great start, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
and then, just another spoiler alert, you don't need to watch it, I'll tell you. I did ask him how their away form were. And he told me.
Oh, well. Did he really? No, he didn't just go, what's this idiot talking about? He actually was pleasant and answered you.
Yeah. Nice one.
Okay. Very much must be.
I could just picture him after the scout report going, are we a town? Do I need to book the coat? Come out.
Yeah. Mrs. gone, I thought you were on the weekend. No, I'm going to Rotherham now. And Mick said we're away, so we're going away. Yeah, check that out. That'll be out probably tomorrow, probably Friday. But we'll see. We'll see as and when I get time to upload that. I just want to kind of address this. I saw on social media today some rumours of a takeover. We're not ignoring that, but we're not going to talk about it either. Because if there, we should leave it there. I've seen some mentions of some things which sound interesting, but we'll maybe leave it until some news breaks on that. Probably.
So we're not going to address the elephant until it's a bigger elephant.
Yes.
Okay.
It needs to get to a certain level of elephant. Red, white, and blue, stars and stripes, elephant. Before we talk.
Are you saying basically it needs to get to the level where the canteen staff are aware of it, and then we'll all find out about it?
Probably.
Right.
Probably.
I understand.
But we'll see on that one. We'll see what happens with it. We'll keep an eye. Keep your eyes peeled. There is talk. That's it at the minute. We'll see. We'll kind of see how serious it gets. At the minute, it's just talk and speculation. Hopefully, it's something, but we don't know the answer to that one. So we'll move on. But I just want to let everyone know we're not ignoring it. Right. But something we cannot ignore, Danny, is the youngest goal scorer in Rotherham United history, Harry Gray. A really good goal, a really, really difficult header. Those glancing headers kind of in front of the front post are really, really difficult goals. But he took it really comfortably and he was absolutely buzzing, bless him, as he should be.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm surprised he didn't strip off and run into the stand. That's what I'd do if it's the first senior goal. And I actually feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for him because he can't have a beer to sell. Well, illegal beer to celebrate either. But now that will always be with us as a football club, no matter where he ends up in his professional career. And I hope it's to the highest of highs. That he's our youngest goal scorer, and he scored his first professional goal in football for Rotherham United at the New York Stadium. So wherever he ends up, that will always be. That is effectively written in stone. You can't change that. That is it. And I agree. The technique just to get that little deft glancing header at the near post, brilliant goal. Absolutely brilliant goal. Because you see some people get the first senior goal and it's like just a little tapping or it's a rebound and they're there and they tap it in. But no, that's just pure technique to score that goal. I'm absolutely buzzing for him. And as a few people know, there are a few Leeds fans that are regulars in the pub. They were chuffed to bits for him as well. Yeah. One of them are very disappointed. He's like, why has he scored it for you? Why couldn't he score it for Leeds? But there you go. And yet everybody was absolutely buzzing for him on the pitch as well. I think that's the biggest compliment as well. And yeah, more please, because I think Harry Gray is going to be a big part of the end of our season. And it's a lot of weight to have at 17, but he's up for it. I don't think I've seen him put a foot wrong so far. He was a bit quiet to start with, but now that he's scored, I think he'll come out of his shell and be an enormous player for us.
Yeah, and look, the buzz around Harry Gray gets louder and louder. Rather than have these connections, not only players who play for us, but have these connections with players who go on to play great things. Cesc Fabregas obviously made his professional debut against Rotherham United. Phil Foden's first ever home goal for Manchester City was against Rotherham United. I'm sure there's other ones where in the past we've kind of played against young players and we have that little bit of connection. Maybe Harry Gray could be the next one where it's kind of a proper connection, where hopefully he goes. So hopefully in 10 years' time, when he's playing for England and scoring a bucket-load of goals, we can say, he scored his first goal for us. So let's see what happens with it. Let's see what happens, Mick. Go on,
Listen, I'm all for the hype on Harry Gray. I really am. You know, he's clearly going to be a great footballer, but I think he's had a quiet start, which you would expect. Please don't take that in any way as a criticism, because it's not. He's a 17-year-old lad who's not played professional football at any level. Well, professional football in a league. God, what am I talking about? You know what I mean?
These words
league football is what I'm talking about. Okay. He's had a quiet start. You can see the quality there and everything else. I don't think his performances have been raveable. You know, we shouldn't be raving about him. However, it's a really good goal, and you can see the quality that he's got. And once he starts to get a little bit more experience at this level, he's going to be a hell of a handful by the end of this season. So it's great for us, and it's great for him as well. You know, it's great for him for scoring his first senior goal. Fantastic, and it's a really, really good header, I think. Yeah, it is. It's a bit of a monkey. He's a youngster, and nobody expected him to come and score bucket loads of goals. But as a striker, it's still that thing you always want off your back. And you don't want to be going into April still waiting for your first league goal. No, absolutely. So it's massive for him. Let's talk about his overall game, Mick, and your view, because he ended up right winger, which ironically he got him more involved in the game. Yeah, which is good. Yeah. But that kind of shows the character about him, because we've had loanees before from big clubs where they've been much bigger clubs than Leeds, and they've come in and they've been above the club. You can see that they're above Rotherham United. I'm just there to do this. Yeah. I'm not really invested in this cause. But he's tracking back. He's getting stuck in. He's invested in the cause. And that's same for Baptiste so far as well. It's same for Adebayo, who's obviously permanent. But these loans, and Dan Gore as well, they're invested in the football club, and that says more about his personality rather than his technical ability. That he wants to play football. He wants to represent the club that he's playing for, and that's half the battle, isn't it? Well, that's more than half the battle, isn't it? It's more than half the battle. Yeah, he's a Yorkshireman, though, isn't he? You know, and he's got some pride. He's quite clearly got some pride, and you know, I listen. Don't think that I didn't pick up on the fact that you said that there's much bigger clubs than Leeds. I heard that very passive aggressive, and I'm sure. I'm sure there's some dirty Leeds fans will be telling you that's not the case. Yeah, he is invested in it, as is Baptiste, as is Dan Gore. I mean, they're clearly that kind of character. But we'll talk about Adebayo's goal in a second. But you know, both of them went straight to manager to celebrate. Just saying, yeah. All right, passive aggressive much. Listen, I'm just saying, you know, and that's going to have an impact on him. He's got certainly somebody of Harry Gray's experience or lack of, you know. If he knows that the manager's got trust in him, and he's clearly happy to play for him. And you're right, when he went out on that right hand side, arguably he was far more effective than he were playing up front. He's certainly more involved in the game, and the runs he made down the channel were way beyond his years. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm now raving about him. Thanks for that. Thanks,
Yeah.
Matt.
There's something there. There's definitely something there. It's down to him, isn't it?
God, yeah.
Down to him. He's got the edge to him as well. He's not arrogant, but he's very confident, which I like. I like that a lot. Mike Mill just saying the last one to have the record was Trevor Phillips. He scored in a 2-1 defeat against Bury in 1970 in a Rotherham team with a guy called Neil Warnock. I wonder what happened to him.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. The goal, Danny, it's 2 assists for Joe Powell. We're gonna not rush, but we need to talk about Joe Powell in a bit more detail in a minute. But they've gone back to that little roly corner thing. It's brilliant. I don't understand. I'll never understand footballers where he can't kick the ball stationary. He has to have it rolled to him. I mean, if it was me and us as amateurs, I can kind of get a moving ball. It's easy to get momentum on it. He's a professional footballer, but it was such a good corner, and there were loads of good corners throughout the night from these weird little droppy things. It's strange, but it worked like an absolute treat.
Well, we all need a bit of help every now and again, don't we?
I suppose.
And maybe it's finally clicked that the dead ball corner just wasn't effective because it was either too long or it had hit the first man. So they've just sort of gone, try something different. He's tried with the moving ball. And I don't know, it's either how he connects with the ball or it's, more confidence because he's not the one actually taking the corner. So it takes a little bit of that mental edge off. I don't know the ins and outs or the science behind it, but long may it continue because corners are so much more effective now. I mean, just in that second half, they were so much more effective and we got 2 goals out of it. And in this situation, you get goals wherever possible. But if we've got a wicked corner routine, someone who's got the technique at the front post or an absolute bullet header from a centre half in the 6-yard box, and that's how we score, I'm all for it. I'm not going to complain about it at all.
I thought our set pieces in general were really, really good on Tuesday. The question marks certainly in the first half of why players aren't attacking really good areas. We in the first half particularly, it was on the edge of the 6-yard box. We whip every time. Nobody was attacking it. Nobody's getting anywhere near it. So there is question marks in the whole thing, but those corners and set pieces are much, much better than they have been recently. And that's it's led to 2 goals, isn't it? That's not bad. We'll take that. Harry says, will Nick praise Steve Evans for the corner routine? Can we get a bit of...
Well, that was like just going in. But he unfortunately hit the wall. That was definitely it's going in this, but it pinged off someone's head. So hopefully Spence gets a couple more of them as well. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes. Mick, do you want to praise Steve Evans, Mick?
No.
He needs a bit of praise, bear in mind how bad it's going to Bristol Rovers. So,
listen, it's a great routine. And if he came up with it, I'll praise him. Well done, lad.
But it works.
It's his legacy, you know.
Yeah, fair enough. We're probably not go through all the subs because again we've got a couple of bits we want to talk about, but there were lots and lots of changes. Emmanuel Adebayo comes on for his debut, Mick, and when he went to bed on Monday night, he may well have dreamed about his debut. He probably dreamed about starting, but I guarantee you he dreamed about scoring the winning goal. I guarantee it because we all would. And once again, this is a fantastic ball. One of the best ball Joe Powell's put in. It's such a good ball. Yeah. Undefendable area. Undefendable. Adebayo's gone, I am having this ball. I am getting this ball. And he did, and it was a thunderous header. Such a good header. And it was just a fantastic moment.
It was, like you said, the delivery was absolutely pinpoint. It was perfect. Not out of the reach of the goalkeeper, over the defender's heads. And to be fair to Adebayo, he's bust the back of the net with the header, and he's almost had to bend down to get his head on it. You know, it wasn't a simple header, but he was absolutely, there was no way anybody's stopping that. He was absolutely adamant that if it's either going back at net or it's going through stand because he put everything behind it, didn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah, I am so pleased for that lad. What a way to debut! What a way to make your debut, and what a confidence boost that's going to be! Yeah. What an absolute confidence boost! So yeah, absolute kudos to him. Fantastic header, really, really good header, and a wonderful, wonderful delivery.
Yeah, just some as well. We've had some good debuts this season. Obviously, Tom Holmes didn't end, so hopefully it's not doesn't do a Tom Holmes and starts really, really good.
Yeah, well, he won't 'cause he's ours.
That's true. That is very, very true.
Touch wood is not injured either.
Yet.
Touch wood.
He's got a couple of goals in senior football so far. 11 in senior. In that includes Premier League 2 though. So he has a threat down here. That's something we're missing. That there's lots to talk about Sean Raggett. I'm not going to waste much time talking about Sean Raggett now. But one of the things that's really good about Sean Raggett that nobody else in this squad really has is that wrecking ball attitude. I'm just going to attack this ball. I don't really care what's going to happen. I'm going to attack it. We've really missed that from an attacking point of view. And it's just a very small snapshot. But that was a wrecking ball. That was a Sean Raggett, a Richard Wood type header of get out of the way, everybody. Big man's here. I'm finishing it. It really was that kind of next level aggression from a defender, which we've been missing.
Yeah, let's compare it to Richard Wood and not Sean Raggett, shall we? Because you hit nail on head there. It's a proper wrecking ball centre half goal from the 6-yard box, and we saw a little bit of it from Sean Raggett last season when he played. We've not really seen it this season, so I think that's one reason why we've got Adebayo, because we need that style of centre half. You know, we've got Jules and Baptiste, but they're not like the big wrecking ball type centre halves. And Raggett's either not fit enough or out of favour at the minute. So we needed someone like that, and now we've got it. And like Mick says, he's ours. He's 22, so he's still young and developing, so we can turn him into something. We won't mention the 18-month contract again because that caused arguments, but if he can build on his debut, which I hope he does, then it'll be some great centre half for us. And hopefully it's a longer contract for him as well when he proves that.
I'm sure about it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure if you're watching, we want another couple of years on that. Yeah.
Sure, no.
Come on.
But no, we've seen goals like that from Richard Wood for many, many years under Paul Warne. And now we've got someone who hopefully can do that under Matt Amshaw as well.
Yeah. Is it interesting at all that he played Adebayo over Lenny, Mick? This has just literally come to my head now, but Lenny seems to have dropped down the pecking order significantly.
I think he brought him on as left back, and he played him left back.
That, couldn't he?
And I think that's arguably why. I don't know. I hope not, but I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think to read too much into that.
Okay. I'll scribble that off. Joe Powell, Mick. For the last 2 years, or 18 months, there's been a lot of talk on Joe Powell, mainly because he's the only one that's been bothered to turn up every week, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's been positive, sometimes it's been negative. Probably more times than not, it's been negative. But he had a spell out of the team, enforced because of an injury. Something we, I think, as a podcast, have been saying for most of the 18 months that he needs to take some time away from playing football for a little bit. But these last 2 games, over the 2 games, he's been the standout for me. He's probably not man of the match in both games, but he's been consistent in both games. And I don't know why, but when you're playing a 4-4-2 or two in central midfield, I really seem to suit Joe Powell. I don't know why, but in both times, it's really suited Joe Powell. He's been able to impact the game significantly. 2 assists, obviously, some set pieces, but his overall play was really, really good.
Yeah, I particularly been critical of him this season, especially. You know, his performances have not impacted games and everything else. There's no doubt what a quality footballer he is. There's absolutely no doubt at all. And you're right. I think the enforced absence from the team has done him a little bit of good. And his performances have been really, really excellent. Really excellent. He ended up at left back, like we said on Tuesday night, and his head didn't go down. He got involved, he got stuck in, and then he went back in midfield very shortly afterwards. And back impacting game again. If we can keep him in the right frame of mind and keep his confidence up, he's a game-changing player. There's no doubt about that. You know, hopefully we can do that now. If we can kick on a little bit and play to his strengths. What a player! But I think is he also the type of player that if you're not playing to his strengths and he's not involved in the game as much, is then not impacting the game, which then impacts his confidence? I think, I don't know. I don't know whether that's right or not. It's just how it seems.
Yeah, no, I agree. It makes sense. So he's going to play anyway. Joe Powell's going to play. But if you're going to play midfield three, Dan God, Kieran Spence, and Joe Powell is a very, very good midfield three. But again, you've got to make sure Joe Powell's involved. Because when he's not involved, he just floats around and don't really impact the game, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
But then it's easy to look like you're not impacting the game when you're playing with Dan Gore and Kieran Spence because they do so much to impact the game. You don't look like you may impact it as much a little bit. Maybe I don't know. But we saw the game out, Danny. We saw the game out reasonably easy. There was no last gasp defending or anything nonsense like that. It was, in the end, a reasonably comfortable last 10, 15 minutes or so. Which again, you question mark. I'm sure Northampton fans will be questioning themselves, but we made them look bang average in that second half, and they were never going to hurt us, especially after Tom Eves went off. They were never ever going to hurt us. They took a step back after Eves went off, to be honest.
Yeah, they kind of did what we do when Jordan Hugill comes on. Weirdly, we just sort of take a step back and just don't really try and fight for the game, which is no disrespect to Northampton. But we just sort of controlled the game to see it out. You know, we sort of kept the ball in the corner, which I don't think we've seen us do for a long time. And we just sort of played around them a little bit. And it's kind of nice to see that we do have that ability, or rather we've refound that ability. Just see a game out. You know, I was kind of saying to myself, we need to score another one here. We're not going to see it out unless we score another one. Also mainly because I wanted to get 3 points for the correct winning scoreline again.
You got 2-1 as well?
Yeah, I went 3-1.
Sorry.
So I wanted that third goal to get me 3 more points. But anyway, but no, watching us see a game out comfortably was such a refreshing thing to see because, well, we've not done it in best part of 12 games. So again, it's something we can say we've got back in a locker again. We lost it for a bit. We might have refound it, and maybe we don't need to do it for a win. I hope we do it for a win because every game's crucial. In terms of if you're ahead, win the game. So yeah, I'm just happy to see it. I'm happy to see Nombe take it into the corner, even though I want him to score. You know, or Gray out on the wing, but he's still running up and down to see the game out rather than to try and score again. It's just nice to see. It's nice to see. Let it continue, and hopefully we get another win down on the south coast on Saturday.
Yeah, I agree. The full time comes in the matter of consistency, and I don't know what the other word is, but I'm sure was happy to come out and clap the fans after this game. But you could sense the relief on the players. Mick Sam Nombe couldn't run; he was just literally laid on the floor. Rafferty was getting at the big eye, as you'd expect him to be, you know, buzzing about the win. This team hasn't given up. It will be very easy for us as Rotherham fans. So they don't give a damn. They don't care. They absolutely do. They really do care. You can see how much the win meant to them. And in a relegation fight, which is where we are, if your players care, again, you stand yourself a hell of a chance. Yeah,
you do. You do, absolutely. And it's clear that they do. You know, for the most of them, some of them, there's been question marks over. But the players you were talking about, and the people you're talking about there is no question marks over their ability or their desire. You know, maybe the performances are question marked at times, but what they want out of this is exactly the same as us. You know, as for Matt Hamshaw clapping fans, who knows? Maybe he's just tired of being verbally abused. Who wouldn't be?
Yep. We said the same way. Again, consistency. When we said about Steve Evans last year, you got to take the rough with the smooth. You got to take the positive with the negatives. But we'll move on. It's not a massive deal. I don't think. No, I think it's just for consistency. I think it's worth mentioning. Does it matter? No. Who cares? But yeah, important win. Because at one point in the night we were 6 points adrift of safety. When we were losing, we were 6 points adrift of safety because other teams were picking up points. We ended the night 2 points adrift of safety. which makes that Wimbledon draw stick in the throat a little bit more because we'd be level on points with that. Although there's other performances and games which probably stick in the throat as well. Just obviously that recency of it. But you win Saturday and you're out of relegation zone. And then you win again a week after and you're 15th or whatever. The table is ridiculous. I looked at the stats of the day, by the way. I just want to let you know, talk you through how close the league is. And how we talk about League One being a terrible league this year. It is much more competitive than last year. Last year, how many points we're in now? I've lost 28 points, aren't we? Something like that. Don't have you got a table?
Yeah, 28 from 27 so far.
28 points. This time last year would have had you 19th, and we're sat 23rd. You know, and that 28 points would have had you 4 points clear of the relegation zone. This league is much, much more competitive than it was last year. There's no point talking about Evans because I don't think it's a relevant comparison because of the circumstances. But you think comparing leagues is what we should be doing. And I think it emphasises the competitiveness league. It might be rubbish competitiveness. Teams might be rubbish, but it's still competitiveness between sides. Right, we're going to finish off the top of that game by Mark Miller says, I don't know if it was mentioned, but we should acknowledge the passing of Tony Stewart's brother, Terry, a club director. Sometimes football has to take a backseat. I have a story about Terry Stewart that my granddad once told me. My granddad's no longer with us either, but when we have got some cousins, I've got some cousins who live in New Zealand who are Rotherham fans because they're originally from Rotherham. When they came over, they went to get some Rotherham shirts from the club shop, and they bought all the shirts. And then he always asked questions. Can we do this? Can we do that? Oh, can you let me show little lads around stadium? And the staff are going, no, we can't do that. I'm really sorry because we don't do club tours and things like that. Terry Stewart's just in the background, hears this, that they're from New Zealand, and just takes them on a tour around the stadium and just walks them around and shows them the gaff. Every story you hear about Terry Stewart is a good one. You know, he seems like he was a nice guy and everything else. And it's a sad loss for the football club because it really had obviously a bigger loss for the Stewart family as well. So thoughts and everything else that goes with them. Is there anything else you two want to mention from Tuesday?
No, all good.
Cool. Jordan Hugill. We should touch on Jordan Hugill. Probably played his last game for the football club. Serious knee injury. Roundwood strikes again. Or something, I don't know.
Finally got him. He's going to get him eventually. It's finally got him.
Unfortunate for Jordan Hugill. Unfortunate for the club because he's not available anymore. But I suspect it will push the football club into some movement. I think we'll maybe talk about Hugill's legacy and everything at the end of the season when it's officially that he's gone. But it's unlikely we'll see that number 10 shirt worn by Jordan Hugill ever again. So that is what it is. Referee Mick, you didn't mention the referee from Tuesday night. Come on, give the fans what they want.
I've tried to block it out of my mind. It was awful again, but it's just bookings for one thing and then not for another. I offsides, which are not his remit, obviously, that weren't given, and then offsides that weren't offside that were given. Just, throw-ins taken from wrong place, except for Joe Rafferty, who was moved a yard to take his throw-in.
Yeah.
Just picky, and hugely inconsistent.
Yeah. Harry Gray yellow card just after half time was mad. Absolutely mad, and then didn't book their players for twice the thing later on in the thing.
Harry Gray got booked, I assume, because it was an attack and he stopped the attack. Dan Gorn got nearly chopped in half in the middle and didn't get it and never got it. Yeah, so it's just it's difficult. It makes the game even more difficult to watch. You know. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Right, referee watch. I did look at the referee because I found out this referee has only refereed one Rotherham game before, and that was against Exeter away, which is ironic. Bear in mind, we're away Saturday, Mick. I don't know if you realise this, by the way. We are away. Yeah, we're away.
You have to rearrange your plans now for Saturday.
Paul Howard is the referee. Refereed the 1-0 loss last year when Sam Numby obviously didn't start but came on a sub. We fully expect Sam Numby to start this week. this run's been important, Danny. We're unbeaten since Ben left, which was the last 2 games. 4 points for 2 games.
is that the line in the sand? Is that going to be the line in the sand?
Yeah.
Unbeaten since Ben left. That's the line in the sand, is it?
You hear American soldiers talk about there was before Vietnam and after Vietnam. This is before Ben was here, and after Ben left. That's what we're going to measure our season. But 4 points since Ben left, Danny. But this is again big. It's massive. You have to back up these wins. 1 win and then nothing is nothing. Is nothing really. Ben might as well just draw the last game. You have to keep that points total. When we stayed up in the championship, we were constantly picking up points. Might not win every week, but there were constant wins, constant draws, and it just kept the points total ticking over. If we go down to Exeter, play 3-5-2 and gift them a 1 or 2-0 defeat, it takes away everything from these last couple of games, any positive last couple of games. This is as big as the last 2.
Yeah, maybe even bigger because Exeter are in quite decent form at the minute. I believe the last loss they had was against City in the FA Cup, even though it were an absolute walloping.
I think they lost on Tuesday.
Did they lose on Tuesday?
Tuesday was the first loss, I think. Oh, they drew. No, they drew 2-2, sorry. 93rd minute equaliser. Sorry.
Well, again, they've got fight in them, haven't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they've clearly used that absolute tonking by City. Was it 10-1 it finished or something silly? They've obviously used that to their advantage. It's a bit of a rat. We're not doing this again, and they've been unbeaten since. And it's away, so technically the ball's in their court in some regard. So it's not going to be easy for us to go down there. But we have the confidence of a win and a big win against a fellow relegation threatened side. So we could use it to our advantage. So yeah, it's going to be a very, very, very hard game. But play our cards right, and I know this won't happen, but we'll see. If we start the game with the back 4 and upset Exeter's planning against us and try something new, again, that could play into our favour as well because we know that lineup, if that makes sense. We know how to play with the 4. We still look confused with the 3, or whether it's a 3 or a 5. You know, it's like me when the lineup gets announced. Is it a 3? Is it a 5? Are they sitting deep? Are they going forwards? We seem as confused as the fans do sometimes. But with a 4, you know who your 4 is. And we just have to play the game that plays the most into our favour. And I think we'll come away with a decent result. Is it a must win? No, I don't think so. I think the must win is Burton when we play them. I've forgotten what day we play Burton. Excuse me.
It's not next. It's
the 17th of February is when we play Burton. Yeah. That to me is the must win. I'd say a draw at Exeter is the bare minimum anybody will expect. Cardiff, we'll see. But if we lose against Exeter, then we've thrown away everything we've built over the last 2 games. So, just play to our strength, and we should carry it over the line. I'm not bothered how we score. Just score and win. To use the old American chants, fight and win.
Yeah, they don't concede many. Go on.
No, can't go on.
Scott Kent, he got one of the best defensive league. Yeah, there's only Stevenage that have conceded less than them. They've conceded 26. Stevenage have conceded 24. That's obviously from 27 games. So they concede less than a goal a game. But they don't score many. They've only scored 33. And there's only there's literally a handful of teams that have scored less than Exeter as well. So they're probably very efficient at what they do. Just importance of the game, Mick. It's not must win. It's not must not lose. But it's close to must not lose.
We're talking about we're playing a team here who are 11th in the table. They're 5 points off playoffs. They're 3rd or 4th in the form table, depending on which way you look at it. And so they are no mugs.
No,
they are well up there, and they're not a million miles away from being in the playoff hunt. And we are 2nd, 3rd from bottom. So form will tell you there's only ever going to be one result in this game. So if we get anything out of it based on that alone, then we need to be happy with it. We need the 3 points. We want the 3 points, and it's not out of the question by any stretch of the imagination that we get the 3 points. However, we're going to be realistic about this. This is not one of those. Well, we really should be winning this games. we can get what we can get out of it. By the sounds of it, from speaking to Brad from Exeter earlier on, they're really up for the fight. They're up for the battle every game. The only sort of chink in their armour, from what he was saying, was getting balls in the box. The goal is not particularly big. I
remember him.
Yeah. If we can get balls in the box and get the goalkeeper under pressure, then we might get something out of the game. But we'll have to wait and see on that score. They like to play out from the back. So if you press high, you put them in bother. We don't press high, so that's never going to be a problem. Although, we've now got Harry Gray, we've got Sam Nombe there. We are capable of putting that press on now with the players that we've got available to us. So we'll see. We'll wait and see, obviously, as we always have to. But you've got to look at the reality of the situation in terms of form. And the reality in terms of form is that we ain't got a cat in hell's chance of winning. That's obviously not true, but you know what I'm saying. It's going to be a tough game, a really, really tough game.
I think the neutrals have already written this game off as an Exeter win, if I'm being honest.
Oh, I think a lot of Rotherham fans have as well, and a lot of Exeter fans the same. Who cares? That none of us know, do we? None of us. So that is all just stuff and nonsense, really.
Yeah, I get the feeling that we're a bit of a streaky team. I think we've shown that already this season, haven't we? We're going by a long streak of not winning. We then went on a really long streak of winning and not losing. We then went on a really strong long streak of losing and not winning. As the tide kind of turned for the next 7 or 8 games where we go streaky again and pull ourselves kind of out of trouble. Time will tell on that one. By the sounds of it, won't be pretty. But what game has been pretty this season, I suppose. Right, score prediction time. Who wants to go first? Mick, you were correct on Tuesday night. Would you like to? A lot of people predicted Winchester for Tuesday, so lots of points picked up. What do you reckon for Saturday, though?
1-1. I'd love us to win. I'd be so desperate for us to get to sneak a 1-0. But I just can't see us keeping a clean sheet. That's the issue. No, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go with my head. I'm going to go with my heart. 1-0 Rotherham. Change. People that make the 1-0. 1-0 Rotherham.
Danny.
Well, Mick stole my thunder a little bit because I was going to go 1-0 as well. But no, I'm in the same camp. I think I kind of agree with what he said, Matt. Maybe the tide is turning, but because the game's going to be an hard place to go, I can't see us getting that second goal. But I think the confidence we carry through with the back line might help us out massively. So I'm going 1-0 Rotherham as well.
Cool. I'm going 2-1 Rotherham. Back-to-back 2-1 wins.
Wow.
With the same again.
Where did all this come from?
I really believe in that streakiness. I think we're a streaky team. I think we've got this for a period of time now till players get injured again. We've got this little bit of form, I think. Ian doesn't think so. He said he does think so. 3-1 away win. Harry thinks it'll be 1-0 to Exeter. YouTube says 3-1 to us. Think positive. Scott Kent says head 2-1 to Exeter, but heart 2-1 to us. Paul says 3-1 to the Millers. Chris Taylor says 2-1. Mike 2-1 defeat. Palmer 2-1 to the Millers. J. Wicks says 2-2. Rob Wicks says 4 at the back. We win 2-1. Or 3 at the back.
Arguably, yeah.
3-1 defeat. I agree with that as well. Harry says, does Hampshire get credit in the bank after Tuesday win? Because if we were to lose Saturday, should the question remain about Hampshire being sacked? Well, one win doesn't change anything. You've got to back it up. And we found out with other managers. Other bit of good news in South Yorkshire this week is that we can. I mentioned this because we can talk about the Barry Bannon story again now. Barry Bannon has left Sheffield Wednesday, which means we can sort of like him again. Mick, would you like to tell everybody why it's okay to like Barry Bannon? Now he's left Sheffield Wednesday.
People know, don't they?
Well, I think a lot of our viewers weren't with us back in the day. I think our subscribership tells me that a lot more people are with us now than they were then. Are you trying to hide the fact of the story?
No,
I was wondering how long it'd take for this to resurface.
There was a little bit of banter on Twitter after I'd said that we'd have Barry Bannon, but he'd only make bench. And
then he beat us.
He may or may not have replied to that. And then I also made some smart ass comments about whatever happens. I can't remember what it was. That I'd do the podcast in a Sheffield Wednesday shirt, which Barry Bannon then supplied for me to wear.
Does that make you a Sheffield Wednesday fan, Mick?
However, it wouldn't fit.
Barry Bannon really is as small as you think he is.
Listen, the lad signed it. He gave it us, and we raised, I don't know, a few £100 for Rotherham Hospice. So
yeah,
top man.
He was dead good about it, weren't he? It took it in good heart, and then he contacted us. About giving us a shirt to raffle off as well.
Absolutely. So top man.
It was really good, really really good.
Big but top man.
Yeah, he's gone from the club I hate the most to the club that's in the top 5 that I hate the most in Millwall. So it's not ideal. But anyway, Scott Kenton, we've got 2 first team regulars injured. Ian, that's a Hall and Benson. That's replied to Ian early up. Paramount asking, will there be a deadline day podcast? Probably. We're in the planning stages. That yellow tie is begging to get out of my drawer upstairs. So if we do a deadline day episode, it will fall in line with the deadline passing or the window slamming shut as it does. Bear in mind it's a 7 p.m. deadline. Don't know why. Don't ask. But it's better than 11 p.m. Last thing we want to do is chatting crap at 11 p.m. So the plan is for the next few days. So you'll have this today. Hello. You'll have the scout report, which should be out tomorrow, all being well, but at the very, very latest Friday night. Then there'll be an instant reaction on Saturday. Me and Tom are going to do the instant reaction. We'll make the day off if he wants it for the instant reaction on Saturday. Then we'll be back on Sunday for the full review of the Exeter game. And then the plan is to be with you around 7 p.m. on Monday to talk about the deadline day, slamming shut of the window and all that nonsense that comes with it. That's the plan. Keep an eye on the social media. We will... I'm sure there'll be other things happening between now and then. But we'll see. Is there anything else you two fellas want to mention tonight? Because we've talked about a lot.
No. I mean, it's very kind of you to ask, but no.
Excellent. Thank you for watching us. Thank you very much for Ben for staying away from the country. It's been really, really helpful. Please make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. Again, we don't live our lives on measuring how many people like the show, but it still makes us very proud to see you all being with us and helping the show grow and continuing the conversation about Rotherham United, which is the whole point the show was started in the first place, to have a place to talk about Rotherham United in what I think is a pretty decent manner. So thank you everybody who does that. Last we'll be back next week over the next few days with the episodes. If you're on iTunes or Spotify, we never forget about you guys because you were there from the start. Please make sure you like, subscribe, follow, whatever it allows you to do on there. And follow us on X, follow us on Facebook, and anywhere you can find our UFC podcast. Thank you very much, Mick. Thank you very much, Danny. We will see everyone next time. Thank you all for watching. And as always, up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
Comes for more. 2 for Jensen, 2 for Rotherham. Shoots. Ravel. Vicious, but brilliant. The sweetest feeling for Rotherham United.
Wood's got round the back, and Richard Wood has done it again. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly.
Do me a favor, drop me off in